Brazil is celebrating the fact that its economy shrank by 1/3 of 1% in the first 3 months of this year. Celebrating because most economic commentators thought the latest GDP numbers were going to be far worse. The country is grappling with a political crisis that may topple the president and its worst recession in decades, with 11 million people unemployed. And all that as the country prepares to host the Olympic Games. The BBC's John Guthrie is live in Rio de Janeiro.
Alex, thank you very much. Yes, I'm just on the edge of the glorious Ipanema beach here. The sun is shining, beating down on us. Must be at least 30 degrees. Looking out to sea, various container ships are heading along the coast, along this part of the Atlantic coast of Brazil. Looking straight ahead of me, I can see the Dois Irmãos, which are the two brothers mountains just to the west, at the western edge of Ipanema Bay. They are currently shrouded in cloud at the moment, as are quite a lot of the mountains that encircle Rio here at the moment. A lot of cloud around, and perhaps a good analogy for the Brazilian economy, shrinking for over a year now. Many investors scared away by big corruption investigations, the political situation with the impeachment process against President Dilma Rousseff, also uncertainty over whether this new government, led by Michel Temer, can turn things around, plus the falling global prices for major Brazilian exports, iron ore, sugar. The fall in those prices has not helped the economy here. Right here in Rio, it's the fall in the oil price and problems at Petrobras, the state oil firm, which have really hit the state's coffers. They've seen a big drop in the royalties from oil production in the large offshore fields that we have here. That has had a knock-on effect on some of the public services in this city and in the state. But of course, this is an Olympic city. The Games are here in just over 2 months' time. The authorities have been keen to stress that despite the country's overall economic woes, the Games are coming in on budget and, so the mayor tells me, on time. But given everything else that's happening in Brazil right now, are the people of Rio, the Cariocas as they're known, in the mood for the Games? Well, we went along to Copacabana with its long scallop-shaped curves and white sands to ask some beachgoers.
We're looking forward very much. The Olympics in Rio will be great. We hope it will be a great event for the world, not just for Rio, but for the world.
And I think Rio is ready.
No, it's not ready. But in Brazil, it's always this way. But it will be okay. Always works. Always works. Always works.
Last time we had a big event like this, the World Cup, even though it had social problems, political problems as well as now, I think the energy that everybody feels, it brings happiness, a feeling that we are together, a feeling that we can receive people, a feeling of we can be the hosters.
I used to live in America and I came back to live in Rio because of the Olympics and the World Cup. And the World Cup was amazing, and I think Olympics will be even better.
Some pretty positive views from Copacabana Beach there. Well, if there's one community in Rio that's definitely less than impressed about the arrival of the Games, it's this one we're about to hear from. This is Vila Autodromo, a small community on the edge of the main Olympic Park, which is about 30 kilometres from here, where the residents have been engaged in a long battle with City Hall to stay put. I paid a visit. We've come just a few minutes from the Olympic Park to yet another construction site and yet more feverish activity. Here, 2 roads are being widened and a new rapid transit busway is being put in. But the land alongside bears the scars of a battle between Rio's authorities and the residents of a small community which resisted the demolition of their homes to make way for the Olympics. Now, most of the 600 houses here have been knocked down, just rubble and trenches remain. The red crucifix marks the spot where one house stood. A few residents are still here, and I'm now to meet one of them inside the peach-coloured church, which still stands and provides welcome relief from the dusty air and construction noise outside. Sandra Maria de Souza, a mother of 4, has lived in Vila Autodromo for more than 25 years. She told me how life changed once the land was earmarked for development.
It was so hard because we suffered so much psychological pressure, so many threats, as well as violence. Houses were demolished without warning. We suffered power cuts. We stayed here sometimes 1-2 days without water, without electricity. Lighting poles were removed from the street, leaving the street in darkness. The residents had to fix everything. Some made deals and others were forced to leave, but no one wanted to go. And now we are only 20 families.
Do you think that the Olympic Games is a higher priority for Rio and the authorities here than for many of its residents, like you?
In all countries where the Olympics have been hosted, whole communities have been removed. It's an event that does not include the poor people. Vila Autaudomne will go down in history as the first community to resist the Olympic removal process. The Olympic Games was the perfect excuse to remove Vila Autaudomne, which City Hall has been trying to remove for almost 30 years. The Olympic Games has provided the excuse and the money to remove Vila Autaudomne.
Well, I'm having a walk around this site with Janaína Pinto, who is a research assistant in urban planning at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. Janaína, what has gone on here? I mean, this has had a major impact on this community, hasn't it?
Actually, what happened here was a battle between two conceptions of city. On one side, you have people believing that a city is just an assemblage of individuals, and on the other side, you have people struggling to establish some of their rights here, and trying to talk about the society and trying to talk about politics in a public way, not only in a way to serve the economics of every aspect of the Olympics.
Janaína Pinto talking to me about the battle between the residents of Vila Autaudomne and Rio's city authorities. Well, Rio's mayor, Eduardo Paes, did tell me in an interview yesterday that many of the residents were pleased to leave the site because they were getting better housing. He said not everyone shared the same opinion as those that we have spoken to down there. Now, the mayor also told me how keen he was that Rio became a party town during the Games. It's no stranger to being one of those, of course, with the World Famous Carnival being just one of the many events that bring cariocas here together. There'll be stages across the city during the Olympics with performers entertaining locals and visitors to the Games. Now, one group that will be playing is a brass band made up of children from two of Rio's favelas. My colleague Benji Guy went to meet them.
A traditional samba band is playing at a birthday party in an apartment block in the Rio district of Laranjeiras, just down the road from Corcovado, home of the famous Cruz